Hey everybody, Matt Covey Real Estate. So, a lot of activity here. It's December of 2023. A lot of things are always changing in the market, and in particular, this past month we had some changes, downward price adjustments in real estate prices in the Ottawa area. There's other big things happening as well, and I want to make sure I discuss them, go over what they are, to sort of make sure people are aware of what's going on. I'm going to take a deeper dive into each one, stuff I'm looking at, analyzing. I'll put some stuff up on the screen so you're able to see what's going down. But at the end of the day, I think there's some bigger things contributing to price adjustments than meets the eye. So first things first, these interest rates. So we keep seeing a lot of the Bank of Canada's contribution towards saying, hey, this is what we have to do with interest rates, increase, decrease. We're going to hold, but next year it's going to go up or down. So what's really interesting is the Bank of Canada operates in taking and holding deposits, and so they'll take your money and pay you interest on it, but they'll also borrow money and have to pay interest on it, right? So that position of taking and paying interest and then actually receiving interest has always had them in a net positive position, and for a long time, right? So they've been making money for the government on interest. That's changed in 2023. Since those interest rates have gone up, they have increased their own interest rates. Guess what's happened? In 2023 and the end of 2022, they had lost a little bit of money, so they paid out more interest than they took in. And in 2023, it is gargantuan. Like the amount of interest they're paying out so far, the first 9 months of 2023 is huge. So they've paid out just shy of $4.4 billion of interest out, more than they've taken in. And what's that source? And it says right here, what's the source? It says the source of this is the increased interest rates and the increased borrowing costs. So they control their own interest rate. They control how much they're paying. They control that they are the ones having to pay it out. Now, back in 2021, back in 2020, before that, they were making money. So before that, they were making a little bit. And then in 2021, 2020, they were making, good amounts of money. But right now, at the rate that they're losing money, it is way higher, that they're losing money at a much faster pace than they were making money before. So really, they can't really keep holding these interest rates so high. It's to their own detriment. And so it's not only households, but it's Canada. Now, the difference is in Canada, they're just going to print more money. The government's just going to cover the bill, and with more money, borrowing, more borrowing, more borrowing. But this isn't just debt servicing cost. This is the Bank of Canada in interest rates for payments in and out. So the government debt issue is a whole other issue, right? So that's what's up with the Bank of Canada. Now, well, how does that contribute, right? So the interest rate being high, them setting an overnight rate, their Bank of Canada rate staying higher, and them needing to say, hey, we want to borrow money from people. Whenever they say we want to borrow money from people, they're having to pay more interest out. And you've seen that reflected in a lot of bond yields, government bond yields. So whenever the government says, hey, we want to borrow money, they'll loan you, they'll come to you and say, can we borrow $1,000? They sell you a bond, they guarantee they're going to pay it back, the $1,000 they borrowed from you, plus an interest rate. They're going to say, hey, what's that interest rate? Well, from years ago, where that interest rate was very, very low, because it was considered low risk, government bond interest rate has gone up. So this is really a second big contributor to pricing adjustment. If the government has to pay more on their own debt, the government has to offer you a higher interest rate to incentivize you to be able to buy money from them, to borrow money, let them borrow your money. Well, that went up. It was November, October was around 4% in Canada, 5% in the States. It's come down again. The question is, if it's going to go up again, what kind of effect does that have on interest rates? Well, it has an effect of forcing them to stay high, forcing the Bank of Canada to keep them high. And why does the Bank of Canada have to keep them high? Because if you can go and buy a Government of Canada bond and with your money and earn an interest rate, or you can go elsewhere and earn interest on your money, you may choose to go elsewhere. And if you're going to choose to go elsewhere to borrow money, the Bank of Canada has to increase their interest rates to go up. And if their bond yield goes up, if the amount they have to pay you to incentivize you to loan the money has to go up, well, then you're going to end up making it so that the interest rate on mortgages, they're going to force banks, right? The banks are going to be forced upwards as well. So that means more than likely your variable rate mortgages are going to go up with the Bank of Canada interest rate, and then your fixed rate, which are fixed rate mortgages are strongly dependent on the bond market, are going to go up consequence to the bond market. So fixed rate goes up in bond, and then not only fixed rates going up, but you have Bank of Canada forcing up variable rates. So pricing, how does this affect pricing? It's the overlap now in people renewing mortgages. So there's estimates out there that, about half of the people that have mortgages in Canada still haven't been exposed to the higher interest rate, and it's coming up. So people are having to price in to the price of houses what they expect to pay in higher mortgage fees, higher mortgage costs, monthly output of mortgage costs. And what that does is disincentivizes a lot of house purchasing, right? Because you have to pay more, whether you stay in your current house or pay more. And if only half the population's been exposed so far to those increases, it's going to make it so that when the other half is exposed, the pricing of real estate might come down because they just have less money to pay for a house. More is going to go to interest, less is going to go to principal, and so overall, if they have to keep the same payments, they're going to pay less on the principal side to make it so the interest part that stays higher. So them needing to continue to keep interest rates high to incentivize borrowing of money means they're paying more of their own interest, but so are consumers, and that's happening in both the variable and the fixed rate mortgage market. So that pressure is going to be there on the market. So second thing, and I've been tracking this for a little while, and I've got different input from different people. The number of houses on the market that are vacant, that are for sale. So why is this a pressure on the market? And I've had different conversations with different people about this. If a house is vacant, generally speaking, there's good reasons for it to be vacant. Maybe a landlord got a tenant out. Maybe someone has moved and they've already bought another place, so they've already contributed to the market. Maybe it's that they've actually got the house on the market emptied out so that it looks and shows better. There's a lot of great reasons. So aside from those reasons, there's other reasons why houses are vacant. Maybe there's been a death. The overall number of houses that are vacant on the market is higher than ever. So going into this month, November, what I've been doing is I've been taking an analysis of seeing how many houses sell in a month compared to how many houses that sold in a month are vacant. And in November, it was over 41%. In the Ottawa area, over 41% of houses that sold were vacant. So does a landlord that has a vacant house have more incentive to sell? Does a state have more incentive to sell? Does someone who's taken the time to empty the house out, to get it prepped, to have it staged, to have it not live in it, to make sure that it's ready to go to market, have incentive? So my assumption, my presumption is that there's a lot more incentive for people to make it their house that's vacant sell, and they may have more consideration towards pricing adjustment if that's the case. So that's the second one, and I've been tracking this, and I'll keep my eyes on it. I'm going to post this out monthly from here on in to make sure that people see, hey, look, here's the number of houses that are vacant that are hitting the market, and then you can make your own determination how you feel that may or may not be affecting. The point of all this is there's certainly some really, really good buying opportunities out there. If you're selling, it's also a really good time to make sure you're working with someone who's going to understand the market you're in, who's going to understand how your house has to be marketed, and then beyond that, understand how to attract, be it new home buyers or be it other buyers that are prepared to be able to understand the benefits of your house and the perks that it has to offer. So those are big things to be able to do. Make sure you're working with a realtor who's going to sell, who understands what's going on. But at the same time, if you're buying, make sure that when you're entering the market, you have a good realtor supporting you with the different types of value. So this is really just general information. It's not advice. If you want to have any specific advice, anything very specific to your situation, to understand how it is you can get help, I'm certainly more than happy to be able to sit down with you, bring a coffee, make sure you understand what's going on, where you are, where you want to be, and how it is I can help you to get lower. So I'll keep making sure I post out the stats on sort of Bank of Canada type things and make sure you know what's going on there. And then I'll at the same time also make sure you're aware of what's going on in the vacant houses. So that's your longer piece. I hope everyone has an amazing December, and we will have more videos coming out to keep you aware of what's going on in the market. Thanks so much. Like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.